Hello and welcome to this episode of BB Uncovered. I'll be your host, Oluwatosin Ojebisi. Today I am joined by the CEO of Halogen Group, Mr. Wale Olaoye. It's a pleasure to have you here today with us, sir.
Pleasure's all mine.
All right. So we are going to be hearing from you about BB, Dr. Biodun Shobanjo. I would like you to share with us the story behind how you met him.
That's a strange one. What to ask is how did I know about Shobanjo first? Sometimes in the 90s, early 90s, I believe. There was an unfortunate incident on the front page of most newspapers at that time, and it said one man engaged the police from night till dawn in a gun duel in his house somewhere in Ikeja. And it made national news. That was the first time I got to know of anyone that's called Biodun Shobanjo. And he made national headlines. So which man will engage the police in the gun duel? Because armed robbers came to attack his house somewhere in Ikeja at that time.
Okay.
And those were days where armed robbers would come to your house, and so the man was prepared. So it began to, that was the first time I heard about the man, and I rose some curiosity in me that, look, who is this man that will engage the police in the armed robbers in gun duel till morning? So saying that when police came in the morning, he thought that the armed robbers were still there, and he kept on shooting.
That's amazing.
And it made national news, and it was when the police were surprised, and I learned that then there was some crisis. How could the man engage? And so that's the first time I knew of Mr. Shobanjo. And so somewhere in my subconscious, I began to be aware of the man and began to follow the man. Certainly at the back of my mind, just that this man is. But as fate will have it, I never in my wildest dreams thought that we'll get to meet, more so to be an associate of his in business, and to work with him also as an associate in business. So fate played a very strange one. And to capital, it was in the business of security, because that was what led to the creation, apparently that incident in 1992 was what led to the creation of Halogen Security Company. It was a time where the country was going through the first phase of insecurity, as it were, where armed robbers will come and attack homes and attack people, and the days of Shino Rambos of this world and co. Yeah. So I believe that was what led to the formation of Halogen. Yes, because as I came to know later, the company then Insight Communications and the companies were looking for a security company that will help protect its facilities and also step up security around the residencies on the back of that incident. And they couldn't find any locally, I believe, and they made the choice to start something for the sake of the business alone. So I believe that they trained about 20 people in the police college with the help of the police leadership at that time, and they deployed them at the facilities and their homes. And voila, there was a demand for people who came and saw what they saw demanding, and I said, how can you want these people? They said, well, it's not a business, but it's just for their own businesses. And the demand was overwhelming, and so the story of how Halogen was created, and the mandate, as I got to understand then, was that if we cannot be a world-class business, looking at global standards, then we need to set it up. And they went across the world looking for partners at that time. I believe they went to Israel, they went to America, but thankfully it was when apartheid was being abolished in South Africa. So they found partners in South Africa who, by dint of history, had very solid security practice, and it just helped to incubate the center of Halogen Group to be a global base on the best global practice and standards. So, hence, fast forward, sometime in 2008, I was running my business between Sierra Leone and between Sierra Leone and Liberia. I was running logistics business for Global Fund as a private company with partners. So someone reached out to me that I don't know how someone got to talk to them that, look, there was something that Halogen was trying to do to work with a fleet management business that I went to acquire, and they thought they still need someone like me to my experience. And the person set up the meeting. We met, of course, with Wale first. Then we met with Chairman, with Mr. Shobanjo. And the first thing man told me was, "Wow, with this experience you appear to have a very robust global experience." Because I'd worked with TNT Group in the early days of Dubai and in Brussels. And he said, "Wow, all this experience, but you stayed this long with TNT, it means that you are a committed human being." I said, "Well, I wasn't looking for any employment." I said, "I want to take this. I will take this opportunity. I'll take this job to do this." And if only we spoke deeper around my engagement beyond just an employee. And he said, "Tell us the story of how you want to make it happen." So if we can, so basically integrating, turning the Halogen security into a creating the storyboard for Halogen and taking the business from a man garden business into what it could become. And we shared the story and we did some storyboard and we discussed about how that could happen. And so our journey began. It was 2028.
Exciting.
And that spoke something about the man. Not many Nigerians who at that level at that time will give an opportunity to a young man who is insistent that he doesn't work as an employee. He wants to, the vision he carries beyond to be an employee of a business. And to say, go ahead and let's do it. Just looking at the man, looking at what he sees on paper. I've remember before, so for him that was courageous.
Yeah.
That's someone with insight. That's someone that sees very far. And that's a man that also demands, you see that commitment, loyalty, and excellence becomes something that the man sees and says, those ethos, if you can live by it, let's journey together. So that's how we began to journey together in 2008. So that's been the story. That's how it is, and that's how we have become to work together, and because we become an associate of his in those years.
That's phenomenal. I mean, we all know that BB is a leader in the marketing communication space, yeah? And as fate will have it, is also a leader in the security business.
You can say that.
With your help and support,
he's my chairman, so you can say that.
Able to accomplish a whole lot.
Yes.
What impact has he had on your own professional growth and career?
There's no Wale Olaoye in the last 15 years without Biodun Shobanjo. I can say that. Is a man that four clear things that I've come to learn from the man that has also impacted my life as a person. First of all, Mr. Shobanjo is a hardcore professional, and he expects that from his associates and those that work with him. So he's uncompromising in his demand for professionalism. Now, if you're able to live with that, understand that, and you're open to journey with him in that sphere, in that space, you can only become one yourself. Two, Mr. Shobanjo is extremely consistent. And I can break that down so you understand what I mean by consistency. Mr. Shobanjo demands and lives excellence. You can see that in everything that he does. And you have to do it consistently. So if you succeed and do an excellent work today, it may not suffice for tomorrow if you cannot repeat and do it consistently. It shows in his own life. Secondly, that also speaks of the integrity in the man. I'm not saying, so I'm tying consistency to also integrity, because it means that whatever he says, if he says he'll show up at 10 o'clock here today, Mr. Shobanjo will show up at 10 o'clock. And if he says he is not, you can be sure he will not. Now, there's this phrase that has become, to my mind, his best quote that has also impacted my own life. It's a very simple quote that I have chosen to write on the walls of our business. It says, if we treat our people well and do great work consistently, fame and fortune will follow. I've seen that become true. I've seen that manifested. I've seen that live through. And I try to imbibe that in our corner of the business. And we've seen it work. You see, the thing is, When with that phrase, it defines the man. There's no one I can say that boldly. There's no one in my generation that worked that was Mr. Shobanjo. I can count them in the hundreds that would not testify or say that, one, the man is a very fair man, and he does that consistently. When we say we treat our people well, it's something that the man insists that leaders in the organization should extend to the people that they lead, and he shows it from the front. Why? Because he treats people well. He treats people well and respect people that are brilliant, that also commit to doing the right things always. So he's very, very, very consistent in that regard. So I cannot, like I said, anyone pick anyone that's worked with that has been part of that has worked with Mr. Shobanjo professionally in working within our group. You can always say that the man is very fair to people. He honors people. He respects people, and he insists that people be treated well. That is evident in everyone that works within the Troika Holdings. You can argue that. You cannot argue that. And if you treat people well, then they will do great work.
Absolutely.
Excellence is in the man, is in the things that we do, and is truly ingrained. And why is that? Because the people, his attitude to people and the way he manages people and deals with people, you can only give your best with a man like that. And the work of your hands will always speak it. And if he speaks excellence, then you all make money together, because success will naturally follow. I've seen that become a reality in my own sphere, in my own personal experience. And excellence is consistent with the man. So you can safely say that he's ruthlessly consistent in what he does and in what we do as associates. And you can debate that. Truly, to some extent, success and the rewards have followed. And when you look at part of what we have in our mission in our own business, that will be a most sought after business. It's correct. Why will be sought after? If you do great work consistently, you'll be sought after. So that's one thing that I've truly impacted me from the man. And you can say that consistency is at the heart of it. So I think I've...
Yes, you have. I mean, something striking you said is ruthlessly consistent. I mean, I think that's what I'll take away from all you've just said. And I know you also mentioned time.
Yes.
It's also something reoccurring that everyone would say about him. I don't know, is there ever a time where you did not meet up to his standard when it comes to being timely? And how did you react?
Oh, yes. The kind of work that we do, anything can happen at any time. It's the work of risk management and security risk management. And, things happen that will blindside you from anywhere in the country. And you have meetings set up with this man. I think the first experience was I don't know whether it was a one-on-one meeting or a group meeting together, a group meeting. So I had this call from this client, I had this issue with this client. He always respects that. Once the client, you can go to sleep. That was my first meeting to understand how somebody's mind works. It was a client agreement that we had. I think something happened, and I got immersed in resolving that issue. Leaving, forgetting to even make a call that I was going to be late for the meeting. And the man was seated and waiting. So I think I got into that meeting, about 30 minutes. The man was still there. The meeting started. So as I walked in, Wale, I won't have that. That's the least. Look at the man. The man was. And by the time I explained to the man that, look, this is what happened. You know what? That's why I didn't like that. When he heard that it was for the sake of a client. It was also a point for me. It was a paradox, and also a great lesson in who the man was. Now, as soon as I said, look, this chairman, I apologize, but this was what happened. It was this client that had this issue. And the moment he understood that it was a client's issue that was resolving, the whole man calmed down and just said, "Hey, but next about it now." Why is that? Why is that? What's a paradox? The thing is, and I've come to see that is the man. Your word to your clients and his definition of service is not a thing that he does by mouth. It's actually naturally expressed that the man that we serve that makes the money, that the man that we serve, part of being consistent with your client is doing all you can within means to resolve and keep the client happy and also committing your words to your clients, delivering your promise to the client. The man eats and lives that. So, for me, it was a lesson. One, about the man, his timing. Secondly, about how he genuinely sees and views the integrity of your word to your client. So if you promise to render a service, you had better deliver on your promise, whatever it takes you to deliver it. Why? Because when you keep your promise and you constantly do it regardless of whatever happened to you, lives with the ethos of being consistent. I said, for me, the biggest about the man is his consistency.
Still back to consistency.
Yes.
Absolutely. That's a fantastic quality to have. I would also like to ask about being a strategic leader or being a leader in any kind of industry requires some certain level of being strategic rather.
Yeah.
And how would you say, or how would you explain that his strategic qualities has helped him navigate the security industry as well?
Especially doesn't run the business day to day, so but at the strategic level, at the board level, one thing I've learned, one thing that is concerned with the man is he's a very simple man. When I mean simple, when he gives advice or brings opinion on a subject matter, he brings it simply. But by the time you think and reflect on it, I found that his little advices or what he brings to the board at the board level as comments and advice and counsel that aid strategy. 9 out of 10 times, and I'm not missing my words. 9 out of 10 times, you may say simply, they're actually very well thought out, and you find out that even if you don't agree with him at times, you come back to the advice he had given by, because they say that what another sees sitting down, you can see standing. Sitting down. You can see standing up. Yeah. That actually, because he never forces anything on you. He just comes with simple advice. But by the time you wait, this man is right. He's actually right, and very simply put. So he comes with simplicity in his advice and the way he sees things, but yet poignant and very, very impactful in contributing to your strategic thrust as a business. So, man, like I said, is simple. What you see is what you get. Shobanjo is, like I said, whatever the man says, whatever the man speaks, put it simply, frankly, fairly, and bluntly. So he'll always be fair, frank, firm in what he does.
All right. So away from the professional world, the boardroom, I think that's all we've talked about since we started. Can you tell us a fun story about him? Something memorable that is fun outside the office or the boardroom?
First off, don't forget that Shobanjo, from what I've known of the man is man will be turning 80.
Yes.
But the man still attends Ashake concerts.
Okay. I mean, who would have thought? He seems like a very serious personality.
Man attends Ashake concerts. He's still an avid fan. I don't Arsenal fan. That much I know.
Interesting.
And there was this trip we went together to South Africa. I think we went. It was a business trip, but had a lot of leisure and pleasure embedded in it.
Okay.
And so we went. Our host took us gaming, took us gaming in South Africa. So we were behind the truck and we're waiting to see the wild animals or to look at wildebeest or whatever it was. So he had on his Arsenal. He had on an Arsenal jersey on that trip. I remember that trip. So each time were behind the truck and the man was carrying had guns and so we're behind the truck. And Keroba, you see what you know, so if you sorry, I mean it's and that was I think that's the only time I can remember that we had some very I mean, when we're really on is it on hook now on chain to have very good time with him. So I remember that fun. We had quite was the only fun trip I remember having with him and where we're very, very relaxed outside of. So it was yes, absolutely work. So that was the time I can find that we had all that trip where South Africans, we had guys and we were conversing Yoruba with a group of us that went with him. So it was obviously not his thing to do. It was also not his thing to game, and so he was speaking Yoruba throughout. But it's a fun-loving man. That much I know, and he's very young at heart. You will always have Seasons Shobanjo. He's able to engage with every generation, and one of the hallmarks of a man of excellence is the ability to traverse generations.
Absolutely.
And if you find any successful man in business, very few have actually been able to impact first, second, third, fourth generations. And I think in professionally speaking, he's cut through that. When my generation, we're looking at the next gen, we're looking at the part and parcel of what we do, and in equal measure, he's able to engage with every other generation to give of the best consistently in what he delivers to the businesses. That's a rare gift that we shouldn't take for granted in a country like ours, and especially with members of his own generation. So it's not to be taken for granted. And this I truly, genuinely must be honored and must really be honored in the man and also respected in what the man is and what the man has done.
Absolutely. So you've talked about his impact, yeah? Now let's talk about his legacy.
Yeah.
What legacy has he built that inspired you?
People. People. You can say that Shobanjo has built people across, like I said, across generations, and he's built a tribe. When I mean a tribe that is of a particular kind, a tribe that, when I say tribe, I mean, you see, the mark of a leader is to be able to influence people across different demographics to a particular cause, in a particular way of work, or way of having your worldview and regards with respect to business. The ethos that he has put forward has given a lot of people the shoulders to stand upon. Lots of people. I mean, that till today, they may no longer be in his business, but at one call, they will all stand and rise for him. The man is able to call the popular prayer that you call one person and 1,000 will stand. Not out of any coercion, but out of genuine love and genuine understanding of what the man has done, the impact he's had upon your life. And such is the man. So I think his greatest legacy is people. He's built people. He has treated people well in the past. He has respected people. He has developed people. And he's built an army of I won't use the word loyalist. It's not politicians. I won't use the word loyalists. An army of committed professionals who, in various spheres, have passed through the University of Insight, University of Troika, University of Biodun Shobanjo over the years. They've also gone to become phenomenal in what things that they do.
Exactly.
Living and expressing consistency of professional conduct and practice consistently to also make them define their own spheres and their own position in the spheres that they also have taken command of. So, and as a young man, the first what I did to him that I've learned is that I also had this. When by the time we met, I was sharing with him. I said, "Look, anything I cannot do. First of all, I believe in the ability of the black man, or young man, to take the commanding heights of whatever sphere or sector they apply their trade. That's my belief. So Shobanjo reinforced and manifested that, and so you just cannot ignore his subtle professional conduct and beliefs that has impacted the way a lot of people do things. Like I said, it's consistent, man, is simple. What you see is what you get. You just committed to excellence and consistency in what you do. So, and at the heart of consistency for me is, like I said, is integrity. It's integrity of the man. He speaks. If whatever he says he'll do it. He doesn't give empty promises, and he believes in part of that integrity is if you get a business, don't do the business if you cannot deliver on the business. Once you come to business, then you must be the best at it and commit at the best standard you can find anywhere in the world. So there's nothing like a Nigerian standard, or so it has to be at the best possible standards that you find anywhere in the world. And that mindset has helped a lot of people to understand that we run a local business, but our thinking is global, our action is global, is universal, and is never less. It's never less than that. So his great legacy, like I said, is people, and the number of people that he has impacted, developed, and also lived by the issues that he has lived his life for. So that, for me, is the biggest thing man can live for anybody.
Absolutely.
People. So, to Shobanjo, I say that the man has the greatest thing of all, which is people that you've impacted. So that's, for me, is the greatest legacy that the man has delivered to humanity.
That's phenomenal. Yeah. Okay, so 3 words to describe him.
3 words to describe him. Professional, consistent, excellence, fair. Yeah.
More than 3 words.
Yeah, more than 3 words. Okay. Consistent, professional, excellence. Then fair. That fair, I can combine the fair. Is a fair man. Is a fair man. So fair and consistent, excellence, and professional.
We'll take it.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wale. It's been a pleasure to have you here. Unfortunately, we have to end the series, this episode rather.
Yes.
It's been great talking to you and hearing you share about everything about Dr. Biodun Shobanjo. Thank you so much. We look forward to having you.
Absolutely, my pleasure. And here's just wishing him years ahead that will be filled with joy, peace. He has given. The remainder of his years should be spent in peace, joy, and enjoyment of life, and all that he has done, in divine health.
All right. This is where you also give him a birthday shout out.
Okay. Happy birthday should be my dear chairman, Mr. Biodun Shobanjo, Dr. Biodun Shobanjo, pardon me. And you have been a great Nigerian. You have been a great leader to many. You've given us the shoulder to stand upon, many shoulders to stand upon. May heavens remember you for good. The remaining years we spent in joy, peace, and divine health. So enjoy your remaining years and just enjoy what you've done, the labor, the reward and fruit of your labor, and you will extend it to generations. God bless you and keep you. Happy birthday, Shobi.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for joining us on BB Uncovered on the Movement Studio, having your host, Olaoye Ojebisi. Join us again next time.